those. The reason for using the microphones is we have people right now that couldn't be here tonight, so we're streaming, and it is frustrating. You've probably watched something and you couldn't hear the question, and so it's confusing a little bit. So if you don't mind, if you have a question, you could just go there and ask it. Or if you don't want to do that, we'll just try to repeat the question if you could do that so they could hear that. Let me just say this really quickly. First of all, I have gotten myself in some trouble over this trip, and it was an honest mistake. I have, for the last year and a half, people have said, hey, we want to go. Can we go? Yeah, we got room for, I thought we had room for everybody. We have, I think Miss Jeannie, and this is my assistant here, Jeannie Ayers, and she just does a great job. She's kind of put this thing together on the front end, so I'm super thankful for Miss Jeannie. Yeah. But I think we have close to 300 people that have expressed some interest, is that right, in the trip? And so on our flights, the issue is flights. We're going to talk about that tonight. That's what we're having trouble getting enough flights to get us over there. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Let me just say this really quickly about the trip before Tyler gets up. You know, I've been 3 times. It's a life-changing experience. It's not a trip. It's a spiritual experience. I think you gain more in a week, or it's like a seminary education in a week. You'll never look at the Bible the same again. Sometimes people say, well, the Bible comes alive after. Well, the Bible's alive whether you go to Israel or not, right? But you sit and read Scripture and you see it. You just experience the Scripture so much differently. Context is just amazing. And so I say this, and this may not be your experience if you go. It's the only place around the world that I've ever been, and the moment you get there, you feel at home. It's an unbelievable experience. People ask about safety. You know, I think it's people say it's the only thing that the Jews and the Arabs agree on is tourism. And so there's never been a time, that was not a good joke, but there's never been a time that I have felt unsafe there. You will experience things differently. There will be very few moments that you won't see somebody with an automatic weapon over their shoulder. I mean, that's the way it is. And so I've found it to be a very safe place to be. I would say this about going on the trip: it's going to be a large group traveling, and so it's not like a family vacation. You don't kind of get to wake up every day and do exactly what you want to do when you want to do it. It's not that at all. There's a schedule every day. We're going to be hitting as many sites as we could possibly hit. Tyler's going to tell us, and so we'll be moving, and so we have to be responsible for that with other folks. And when you travel with as many people as we're going to be traveling with, some people get on your nerves. I'll get on your nerves, and so we have to be kind of full of grace with each other. But there will be moments, we talked tonight about confrontations. There will be moments when you'll be confronted with the gospel in such a profound way there, and it's life-changing. And so I hope and pray that you can make it. We opened up registration today because we could. We wanted to see if it was kind of live, and it worked. And so a lot of you have already paid your deposit and registered. And so there are some ways, once it fills up, there are some ways for folks to still go. You would have to, you could buy your flight on your own, your plane ticket on your own. Use miles if you have that. Some of you may want to upgrade your flight. It's a long flight, And so if you want to upgrade, then that would be on your own, and so that would free up spot for the economy class tickets that we have. So there's multiple ways around that. So we're going to kind of keep working. If we still have more people wanting to go than we have spots, then we're going to try to just get another trip in April, right after this one, to get more folks on. So everybody that wants to go, we're going to try to accommodate as well, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Tyler, and he's going to talk us through this, answer any questions. And Tyler, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here and to talk to you about Israel. Before I get started, kind of telling you about Israel, telling you about myself and our company, I've got a short little video I'd like for you guys to watch, and then we'll talk a little bit about Israel.
in addition to the scripture just really coming to life, is that in the process of seeing all these different locations that we've been to, from Christ's birth to eventually his crucifixion, you see the pain of his whole life. And so me as a counselor, I can bring that into my counseling sessions and, you know, tell people, no, I mean, life is hard, but Christ has done all of this for us. And it's just amazing to be able to see that.
It's like God opened up the doors of heaven. I felt his praying to his Father, where I could just pray to him as he prayed to his Father. It made it so real.
I'm so grateful that we had a company here that was there to guide us. Having Rauf here as our guide, our leader, made all the difference, because I feel like we were immersed in this experience. It wasn't just very surface, and I was able to talk to people and have the courage to talk to people and know what to talk to them about because Rauf was here. And knowing where to go, I feel like, and having him explain it, put all of this together in a big picture for me. So now when I read the word, it's alive to me.
Follow along when they're reading in the Bible, like, I've been there. I know where that is. I remember going there. Like, that's what's been so awesome for me. I can't wait to go home and share what I've learned here with my family and my friends and see what God does.
And for me, it's just being able to walk where Jesus walked and see what he saw and just experience in tiny little amounts what he did, and to actually see it, and I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's indescribable being here. I don't even know what to say.
All right, guys, that was a little video we put together a few years ago from one of the trips, and you know, I really love getting to hear what you guys, what people say when they go to Israel, especially for their first time. Who here has been to Israel before? You got a show of hands here. Oh, so not many people, just a few. Who's already signed up to go on the trip? Okay. Who's waiting to hear what I say before they decide whether they want to sign up? I'm really sorry, guys. Hopefully I can convince you to go. But no, you know, it's really interesting. This morning, I've got a 4-year-old daughter, and I told her, you know, Daddy's going to talk to a group of folks that want to go to Jerusalem. And she says, well, they want to go to Jerusalem to see Jesus? And I was like, well, no, they don't want to go to see Jesus. They want to go to learn about Jesus. But as I was driving here, I had a 5-hour drive here today. And I was thinking in the car, you know, they are going to see Jesus. They're going to see the mark that Jesus has left on the world. And how incredible it is the first time you come over Mount Scopus and you see Jerusalem for the first time. It gives you cold chills. It's giving me cold chills now just talking about it. I've had the blessing of being to Israel 16 different times just in the last 5 years. And I love every time I get to go to Israel. I'm the 4th generation in our family's company. My great-granddad started it back in 1953 out of a little town called Boone, North Carolina. He worked for the Tweetsie Railroad in Johnson City, Tennessee, where he was from. And when the railroad shut down, they had the bus station in Boone, and then it became travel. Well, in the early 70s, we started doing Israel tours. And so I got to grow up hearing all about Israel. You know, oh, these groups are going to Israel. I never went to Israel until I graduated college, and I started working for our company, you know, full time. And to be honest with you, I wasn't very interested in going to Israel. I was a believer, but I was really excited about Hawaiian vacations. I was super excited about going to Europe. I've been to Europe a bunch of times when I was in high school, and I was always real jazzed about that. But I went to Israel for the first time in March of 2011, and I fell in love. And I just told your pastor, and I tell everybody I meet, if I could go one more place in my lifetime, it'd be Israel. No doubt about it. It's just, it leaves that special mark on your heart and in your soul and your spiritual walk, how it helps you. But I don't have to sell you guys on going. Really excited to see how excited you guys are about going to Israel, because we've never had, and I mean never, had so many people sign up so quickly for a trip. And that's just goes to show, the excitement and the passion that you guys have here for the gospel. And so I'm real excited to see you guys go. I'm real excited to get to hear what you think when you get back, for all those that haven't been before. But on these trips, we've been putting together for a long time. As I was saying before, we work with as many Christians as possible. One of the things that you'll see when you get over there is Christians are the minority. There's obviously a lot of Jewish folks, and there's a lot of Muslims, and there's a lot of non-believing Arabic folks over there as well. And, you learn to love all of them. You go there, and your heart kind of breaks for them. I remember the first time my wife went with me. She actually wasn't my wife yet. My parents and her came along with me on a trip, and we had just started dating. We go to the Mount of Olives. We're looking over the old city of Jerusalem, and the call to prayer, you can start hearing it blaring, and she just starts weeping. And what an amazing picture of a heart seeing lost people. And it's they're so close to the gospel. They're so close to everywhere Jesus had been, everything he had said, that they've missed it all. And that is another huge impact. So it's more than just the land. Over there you'll hear them refer to the land as the fifth gospel or the living gospel. Your pastor said it best, though. The Bible is alive. It's not the land that's the only thing that's alive. The Bible's alive too. But the land helps us to understand it better and helps it to make it more real, at least, to me, to understand the geography, to understand what the word is referring to, because it was obviously written to the folks in Israel and the people in that time for their situations and for their understanding. So it's really incredible for that to become clear. But your trip's going to start. You'll land in Tel Aviv, and you'll work your way up the coast and go to the Sea of Galilee. And what an amazing place. I mean, you guys here aren't far from the mountains. Living over in North Carolina, in Western North Carolina, it reminds me a lot of the Sea of Galilee. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful mountains there. And, to see and to be on the Sea of Galilee in the water, how that impacts you is just incredible. So we'll spend a couple of days there. Then you guys will work your way down and be in Jerusalem with all the amazing things to see and understand there. Our guide that's going to be with you guys is, we work with Christian guides over there, with Arabic Christian guides. Some of our guides are also Messianic Jews. So, we love to work with the believers over there. And I believe that it makes a huge difference in your tour, because any tour company can take you to all the sites. And that's part of it, but it's not all of it. But being with a believing guide, they can tell you about our Lord and Jesus Christ, not your Lord and Jesus Christ. It makes a big difference. And so that's part of why I go over there, is to know our guides and develop a relationship with the different guides. And so it's a bit of a difference in our trips compared to other tour companies you might go with. But that's a big part of it. The shops that we go to, we try to support the Christian families, because everybody wants to bring back some souvenirs and everything. So we try to help the Christian families over there, and that's really been important to us. But it really is a joy and a pleasure to work with you guys, to go on these trips. We've got wonderful staff at the office that have been doing this a long time, that have been with us since before I've been alive. And so they know all when it comes to air travel, to get you there safe, to get you around the country safe, and how to take care of you once you're there. So I can open it up to questions. If any of you guys have any questions, happy to answer those if you have any. You got one? Oh, hold on.
I have trouble walking. Is there a lot of walking?
Yeah, so is there a lot of walking? There is a lot of walking. When I'm over there, I've worn a smart watch, and I log, on average, about 4 or 5 miles a day. So especially when you get to Jerusalem, not as much in Tiberias and around the Sea of Galilee, because the buses can get to most of the places. But once we get into Jerusalem, the buses can't get into the Old City. So we're usually dropped around the outside of the Old City, and then it's a lot of walking, on the days. And that's the majority of the trip.
You have to watch what you drink.
What's that now?
You have to watch what you drink. Can you drink the water?
You can, yes. The question, can you watch what you drink, or do you have to watch what you drink? You can drink the water over there. You can brush your teeth with the water. All that's really safe. On our buses, you guys will be going in February, so it's not as big of a deal, but it gets super hot over there. So on our buses, we provide waters and sodas complimentary to everybody in the group. So, in the front of the bus as you're walking on, there's a cooler. And so we just encourage everybody to get as much water and keep yourself hydrated. So that's obviously bottled water, but even the tap water at the hotels and everything is safe to drink.
Okay, so I registered last night, and one of the things it asked was if you wanted travel insurance, and I did not purchase that at the time, but it also said that something about there's travel insurance required for COVID. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is it too late to add travel insurance after you've already registered, or?
No. So I don't know if everybody heard, but it's about travel insurance. So yes, travel insurance is optional. The travel insurance that is required for COVID is included in the package. But you have 14 days once you register to get the travel insurance to require or to include coverage for pre-existing conditions. So there's a little bit of insurance, fine print in there. But if you do want the insurance, or if you think you want the insurance, you need to go ahead and get it, within a short window of registering for the trip. You can add it after the 14 days, but there's going to be some exclusions on what it doesn't cover. And we can get you more specific information if anybody has any specific questions about that. If you just email me or Robin, we can get you the exact print of what is in the insurance policy.
Will more than one plane be going at the same time?
Okay, so the question is, will more than one plane be going? As in, will the group all be on one flight or multiple flights? Okay, so there are going to be 2 flights as of right now that we have going, a United flight and an American flight. So they leave at different times and they get there at different times as well. So there's going to be a flight that arrives earlier in the morning, and then a flight that arrives a little bit later in the evening. You're being assigned to the flights or in the order that you signed up for the trip. So the people who signed up first will be on the earlier flight. People that signed up later, as it spills over, will go on to the second flight. And I think there's going to be some church staff split between the first United flight and on the American flight. So the question is, what type of temperatures are in February? It can range pretty far. So, I mean, no matter what I tell you, I can't be wrong. Because it could snow in February. It's unlikely. But, usually in the mornings, it's cool, 50s. Could be as low as 40s in the mornings. But by the middle of the day, it's usually 60, 70 degrees. That's one of the reasons why we're having a hard time getting enough space for everybody because February is a really beautiful and popular month for folks to go. And so the weather is really great. It doesn't get so blistering hot that you get in April and May and June and beyond that. So yeah, it's pretty comfortable during the day. I always suggest people bring, a light jacket. It is the tail end of the rainy season in February. So we've had groups there the month of February this year, and I talked to some of them. They're like, "Oh yeah, it was great. We had perfect weather." Then another group said, "Well, it rained 3 or 4 of the days that we were there." So, it's more likely going to be nicer weather, but you could get some rain. So a light rain jacket to pack would be very a good idea. There's no need in Israel to exchange your currency. Everywhere you go, they're used to taking U.S. dollars, and they really love to take U.S. dollars too. So you do have to be careful if you shop in some of the markets, or as we're going through the old city, you might see something that you want in a little market. Those places that are not specifically, maybe a tourist type shop or whatever, there's somewhere we didn't take you. They might have the price in shekels. You're going to lose on the exchange rate. Okay, I always tell people, don't try to negotiate with Arabs. They're better than you are. So, but in that case, that you might pay. They'll take U.S. dollars. They'll exchange it. They might pay you back in shekels, and then you'll have some that you can either spend somewhere else or just bring home or exchange. So as far as immunizations or medical passports, there are none for Israel. So you don't have to do anything extra. And of course, no COVID shots are necessary anymore. They dropped that a while back. So you can go and come if you have not had a COVID shot. A question in the back over here? No, the question is, are we staying in the same place the whole time? No, there's going to be a couple different hotels that you'll be in. The group is all going to be staying together at the same hotel or hotels. But we try to minimize the nights in the hotel, so you're not staying at like 5 different hotels. I think for y'all's group, it's 2 hotels. Sometimes it's 3 hotels, depending on how the flights come in. But we usually try to group them into 3 nights in Tiberias on the Sea of Galilee and 4 nights in Jerusalem, so you're not packing and unpacking so much. Yeah. Yeah, so the question is, if you're registering and if you don't have a roommate, you're going to be in a room by yourself, there is a single room supplement, and that's because your room is not being split between 2 people for 2 trips. So the cost of that room is on one traveler. So there is a supplement to be able to have that whole room to yourself because you're not splitting those costs between somebody else. No. Once you sign up for the trip and you pay your single supplement, you'll have a room to yourself for the whole trip. So it takes care of that. If you wish to have a roommate or us find you a roommate, you can tell Robin. You can sign up and not pay the single supplement and write in the notes or write her an email and say, hey, I'd like for you to find me a roommate if there's somebody else that wants, a roommate. And then she'll kind of keep you decided. Then she'll say, hey, I either found your roommate, or she'll say, I couldn't find your roommate. So if you want to go and have the room to yourself, then that you have to pay the supplement. Yeah, the total for the trip, I think, is $4,900 or something around there. So you add the single supplement to that, and that would be your total for you to have a room by yourself. That's including airfare and tips and meals and all that. Mm-hmm. We'll look at the brochure. I think the lunches are not included. The question was, are all the meals included? All the breakfasts and dinners are included daily. There is definitely one lunch included. That's St. Peter's Fish lunch. All the other meals will be on your own. We'll drop everybody into the same restaurant, and then you'll eat at the same spot. Lunches are $20 over there. They were 10 to 12, and then after COVID, we came back. They were 15 to 20, and now everybody's saying they're just 20. They just keep going.
So we are planning to stop for lunch every day?
Yeah, every day there'll be a stop for lunch.
Sorry, I just got to make sure I got to eat.
No, I'm with you, man. We got to eat. You got to eat. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So on our website, there's a detailed itinerary, a day-by-day itinerary. I've got some brochures up here at the front. If you want to come by after our meeting, you grab a brochure. It has a detailed itinerary on it. Then when you guys get your final documents in the mail, about 30 to 60 days before the trip, that'll have another detailed itinerary in it in a little bit smaller format, so you can take with you on the trip and keep up with it. Yeah, you can do 3 to a room. Then that, I think there's one other 2 of the hotels also allow you to do 4 to a room, but it depends on the hotel. And, you know, your pastor also talked about the flights being part of the issue for the numbers. Also, the hotels are part of the issue. I mean, it's more likely we can get more hotel space than it is we can get flight space. It's a little easier to get the hotel space, especially as we get closer, you know, to the travel date. Some people that have held space will start to release that for groups that didn't materialize, and then we'll be able to take up some of those rooms. But, you know, the more that you guys get together and kind of combine into rooms, the more it helps out the room situation. No question over here, anybody? Oh, over here. Yes. So the question was, is there a payment plan and is there a deadline for final payment? So when you register for the trip, you pay a deposit for the trip. And then on the back of this brochure, this is also on our website, there's a little cancellation and refund section here. Those dates you can also basically count on the last date. There is the final payment date. And so, you know, you don't have to. You can wait until we send you a statement that says, you know, well, let me back up. When you register, and Robin and the ladies in our office are currently processing your registrations, those of you guys that have signed up. So the next day or so, you guys will start receiving payment notifications, tour statements from our office and say, hey, you've registered for the trip, you've paid us $500 deposit, and so this is the balance that you owe. That statement will also say, this is the date that you owe your final amount. So anything in between that date, you can send us, you know, by mail, or you can go on our website, make a payment, and we'll post it to your account, and then we'll update you with a new tour statement showing you how much that you guys still owe on your account. You can sign up without your passport information, and then we can add it once your passport comes in. It wouldn't let you last night. Okay, I'll work on that and make sure. So you can type in you can just type in a number. Just type in something and just make a note. So, but I'll try to get that fixed out. Anybody else? Yeah? Yes. Absolutely. So the question is there a phone number you can call if, you know, emails to, or if it's something that's more detailed that you need to talk to somebody about, absolutely. I can give you the number now if you're ready for it, or it's on the back of our brochure. But it's 828-254-0746. And the extension to talk to Robin, who's who you want to talk to, is extension 1337. Yes, ma'am. You can still sign up. Yeah. So, another question for those watching online about your passport renewal. So you can still sign up if it's going to expire. And then just when you renew it, send us the new information. It's also really helpful. It's not mandatory, but Robin really loves to have copies of your passport. It's another thing that we usually talk about a little bit closer to traveling. Is there's this worldwide debate on whether you keep your passport with you or whether you leave it in the hotel. And I tell people, do whatever you're comfortable with. But if you lose your passport, if we have a copy of it back at the office, we can send it to the land operator, the guide, or somebody from the land operating company that owns the buses. They'll take you to the embassy, and we can get your passport for you a lot faster so you can go home with a group. Because they don't mess around over there. So if you don't have your passport, you're not going anywhere. But it is really helpful for us to have a color copy of your passport in case you were to lose it. And I also recommend you guys making some copies to take with you, too. Okay, so, any redundancy like that, it's always really helpful when it comes to important documents like that when you're traveling. They're two separate things. So our cancellation policy that's on the back of the brochure, that's also on our website, those are for folks that don't have any insurance at all. So if you have insurance and you have to cancel for a covered reason, then we're going to charge you this amount to cancel. And that's basically, these amounts are based on what we've already paid the hotels and the tour operators, because we've told them you're coming. So they've got your funds that they're holding on to. And then, so this is what will be withheld. And then the insurance company will reimburse you. We will help you. Robin helps people all the time go through the insurance process. So she is an expert at that. But as far as what the insurance company needs, she'll help be your liaison between them. There are some things that they will want to talk to you about and some things like that, but as much as she can help you, she will help that process be as easy as it can be. But that gets into, those things that are covered and are not covered by the insurance policy, and what's covered and what's not covered is also determined on when you bought the insurance. So all those things are very specific. Yes, sir. No, unfortunately, and the big issue with that is the airline ticket, because the airlines are going to charge a penalty to do a name change. And also I should say it depends on how far out it is and that airline's rule on that. So there could be some wiggle room on that if it was super early in the process, as opposed to if it's a last minute change. So if you do have that, something though, just definitely reach out to Robin and explain it to her, and she'll work with you to tell you what the situation is for your specific instance and what can be done. She'll give you all the options if you need to change something. That's a great question. I'll ask our web developer if he could do that, because that would be a really handy thing. No one's ever asked me to do that before, but it's a great idea. So, yeah, thanks for that idea. Oh, sorry. The question was, could you add a tracker onto your websites where it says, New Vision tour, and so you could see how many people have signed up for the trip or how many spaces were left on the trip. Typically, it's just open for everybody. When the tour is full, we put up on there that the tour is full. You can still register at that point, but we put you on a waiting list. But the counter idea, that's a good idea. I like it. Yes, sir. So that also goes to the travel insurance and why we really recommend it. Good, thanks. I don't do this professionally, by the way, so I need y'all's help. He asked, what happens if you have an accident or a medical situation in country? And I'm thankful to say it doesn't happen very frequently, but it has happened, and when it does, we'll make sure that you get to a hospital or the appropriate place for whatever you need, and then you will have to pay for it on the spot. And then when you get back, all that will be handled with insurance. If you've purchased the insurance policy, you can talk to your insurance, say, this happened to me. It will be a covered reason, like if you fell or if you broke an ankle or whatever happened, and then the insurance company will reimburse you for the expenses that you incurred for the medical reason. Yes, ma'am. So the question is, if you do 3 people to a room instead of 2 people to a room, does it do anything to the bottom line of the cost of the trip? Yes, there is a little bit of reduction in the cost for adding a 3rd person to the room. And when you sign up, if you want to do that, just ask Robin what that is, and she'll walk you through that and tell you, what that cost is. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it is on our website when you register. There is a link on the side to the insurance policy on the trip page that has all of the itinerary on there. You can click on insurance, and there's a link there, and it'll take you to the written out policy. If you want Robin to send it to you, a simple call or email to her or to myself, we will directly send you the insurance policy. Okay. Yeah, meet with me afterwards. I'll make sure I get you the policy. Oh, over here. The question is, do we register you with the State Department, or do you do that yourself? We do not register you with the State Department. So if you guys want to be registered with the State Department, you can do that yourself. Yes, ma'am. Yes, the question is, can you request to fly with somebody? Absolutely, you can. We can't guarantee that you can, but yeah, you request it. And if at all possible, we want to make that work for everybody, be comfortable and know who they're traveling with. So, there's definitely going to be some moving, some people around for sure to accommodate things like that. But that's a normal thing. We can definitely do that. Yes, ma'am. The question is, are there dress codes or dress policies for some of the places that we'll visit? Yes, there's a few places that we visit that for the ladies, they'll want their shoulders covered and below the knees covered, and for the guys, they'll want their knees covered as well. So there's scarves on every corner. People trying to sell you scarves, and so I always, I see a lot of people just throwing some scarf over their shoulders. It's more of an issue in the hot months because people don't want to be covered up. And when you guys are going, it probably won't be as much of an issue. But yeah, they will, and they're not rude about it. If they see you come in, you got your shoulders uncovered, or if you got shorts above your knees, they'll come over to you and say, hey, you need to cover up. And then you do, and it's fine. So, and the guide will tell you the day before you get to one of those spots. They'll say, hey, today you're going to be going to the Church of the Nativity, and we got to make sure tomorrow you got something to cover yourself up. So they'll keep, stay ahead of you to make sure you know the next day. The first day you won't have to, so you don't have to worry about it. Be comfortable on the plane, get there. If you're on the early group, you'll see a few things before, but there's nothing you'll see that won't, that you'll have any dress code for.
The free trip is for Saturday for Easter, yeah. So we'll wait till after both services, and then whoever wins, then Greg Freeman, who is going to take care of that, our executive pastor. He's handling all of that. You're laughing. I'm not laughing. It's absolutely serious, yeah. But if somebody is not going to go on the trip, then we're going to draw several people. And so if somebody's not going to go on the trip, then we'll just, the next person down, if they're going, then they'll get it. You'll get your deposit back. Yeah, that's good. And one lunch. We're throwing a lunch. Yeah. Real quick, Gene's first question about walking. We did on several trips, if people, said, halfway through the day, I'm kind of done, so they can stay on the bus. There, is that the case? Or some folks even, when it worked out, to go back to the hotel kind of early. Yeah, absolutely. So there were some accommodations to that.
Yeah, sorry for not mentioning that. That's definitely true. You can always stay on the bus. Anytime you guys are dropped off, the driver always stays with the bus, and that's another important thing. Your stuff is always locked and protected, and so when you're away, it's safe. But if you want to stay on the bus, the driver's always with the bus. You're more than welcome to sit on it in the air conditioner and the comfy seat, and you don't have to walk around everywhere. The days that it's a little harder, though, are when you're in the old city. If you get halfway through the day and you're in the middle of the old city, and you don't know where you are, and it can be confusing in there. It's like a little bit of a maze. If you tell the guide, hey, I want to go back, you're always welcome to be on your own and to hail a cab and get back we've gotten in that situation before. People are like, I want to go back, but I don't feel comfortable, wandering back by myself. And in that case, find a buddy or somebody wants to go back with you, and y'all can get back. But for the most part, the guide will tell you, hey, hang in there for 30 more minutes or 20 more minutes. We're going to be back near the bus. I can arrange for the driver, and then we'll be, very close. We can get you there together. Like Pastor said, Israel is a very safe place. When I'm there, I don't know if I'm antsy or what, but I don't like to sit at the hotel. So we get done touring for the day. We have dinner, and then I always tell the folks I'm with, I'm like, hey, I'm going to walk into the old city. If anybody wants to go with me, they're welcome to come. And every night, sometimes I go by myself, sometimes I go with 40 people. And I walk down into the old city. And through the old city, I love going to the Western Wall at night. It's really beautiful, and it's just serene. It's a totally different scene than you get during the day when there's so many people you can barely, get down there to the wall. But, it's a really fun and safe place to walk, and to see at night. Yes, sir. Yeah, great question. He asked about the guide speaking to a bunch of people and how easy it is to hear the guide. On all our tours, you get these little devices on the first day. You get on the bus, and they're called whispers, and they're just like little listening devices. So they've got lanyards, or you can put them in your pocket, and a little microphone that you put in your ear. And the guide's always speaking into a microphone, and so you can hear every word he says, even if you're trailing way, way behind. And, they're great for that reason, but they also spoil some of you guys because y'all love the photo opportunities. And you hang way back because you can still hear him talking. You think he's close, and then you turn around, and you're like, I'm here in Israel with nobody. So I can still hear him, but I don't know where he's at. So, still pay close attention. But they got a good reach on him. I'm probably 100 yards or 200 yards or something like that. So, you can hear him very well. But make sure you don't get lost. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So the question is about the food. What is the food like over there? The first time I went, I was shocked. Okay, the first night I arrived, we went to the hotel. Like, okay, we got beef tongue for you guys tonight, and I was like, I am not gonna like this very much. That's the only time I've ever seen beef tongue on the menu. I don't know what happened that time, but no, the food over there is delicious. I mean, a lot of locally grown vegetables and stuff. It's different in the fact that at breakfast you don't have the traditional breakfast stuff we have over here because there's foods they don't mix together. Definitely when you get to Friday night and Saturday on Shabbat, there'll be different foods on those days. As far as more bland, foods that won't be super flavorful. But at the hotels, there's buffets, so usually there's some kind of beef, there's some kind of chicken. You got rice, you got vegetables, and then there's always like a big veggie bar. There's usually a big dairy bar of some sort. So there's a lot of good variety for everybody. You'll come back loving the food, and you'll be searching in your local town here for falafel and shawarma or gyros, all of the good stuff over there. But it doesn't taste the same. It's much better over there. Yes, sir. Yes, the question is, will there be an opportunity to be baptized in the Jordan River? Yes. It's up to your tour leader. There is 2 Jordan River baptismal sites. So most every tour goes there. Some tours don't for whatever reason. It's up to the tour leader. But one is a more commercialized location where they've got robes and a store and everything, and the group, can assemble there, and whoever wants to be baptized can go in and be baptized. There is a cost. Pre-pandemic, it was $10. I haven't heard that that's changed any, but that's just to rent the robe to go. The other site is what's believed to be the authentic site down near Jericho, and that site. Sometimes if we stop and have the baptisms up at the northern spot closer to the Sea of Galilee. We'll stop at the lower spot just to view it. The water's a little muddier there, and it's a little iffy, so not everybody wants to be baptized at the more authentic site. But the water it's the Jordan River, so it's the same wherever you go. But yes, there will be a great opportunity for that, and it's a lot of fun to see a bunch of folks getting baptized. Yes. Question is, do you float in the Dead, or can you float in the Dead Sea? Yes, you'll have some time to stop there. Usually in the afternoon, there's a big beach area. Everybody will stop and we'll take a break, and they give you an hour or two to go enjoy the mud. And I'll tell you, if you buy the mud in the shops, wait till after you go to the Dead Sea because it's free. You just get it off the ground, rub it all over yourself. You don't have to pay for it. Then you can go to the shops and get some to take home, but don't buy it before you've really got the free stuff. It's just as good. Yeah. The question was about electronics and if you need any adapters to charge it. So what I do is, it seems like I lose my adapters. Every time before I go, I run to Target and I buy a whole nother adapter set. And one day I'm going to find I got 50 billion of them, so I'm going to send you guys all of my special adapters and converters. But some electronics will not only require an adapter, but they'll also require an inverter. And it's the bigger block that's part of the adapter if it takes more power. Usually hair dryers will need those converters. The hotels do have hair dryers in them. Funny enough, not all the hotels have washcloths. I don't know what it is over there. They don't like washcloths. So if you really like using a washcloth to bathe yourself, make sure you pack one because they don't have. But they do have hair dryers, so that's exciting. Yes, ma'am. Are there baggage restrictions? Yes, just a standard 50 pounds for your checked luggage, and then you get a carry-on item and your personal item on the plane. Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, you guys are running out of space. You don't have space for me on this trip. I mean, I love to go as much as I can go, but I don't want to keep one of you guys from being able to go. So I don't know. If it gets down to it and they're like, hey, there's an extra seat, and your pastor says, hey, I want you to come. But after tonight, he's probably like, I really don't want him to come with us. You know, I don't, well, maybe. You never know. You might just see me over there. Might be over there for the whole, my birthday's in February. My dream is that I'll go over there for a whole month, and then I'll be there for one group, and then I'll spend the night, and then the next group will show up, and I'll hang out with them, and then, you know, but that hadn't happened yet. I have to go back and forth. And every time I've been back and forth across the pond, it's been in economy. And I've told my dad, so one of these days, we'll sit in the front of the plane. I hear it's really beautiful, but the last trip, I was late getting on the plane, and I ended up in the middle seat, and all the overhead luggage was full. So I sat with my book bag in my lap on the back, and actually took a pastor from my church with me on the last time I went. And he said, you know, I bet I get to go with you. You're going to travel in style. And so we were sitting there. He was beside me with his backpack on his lap. I said, this is the style that we get to travel in. So, you know, we're not all immune to the woes of air travel. It gets us all sometimes, but we roll with it. And then we get there and we have such a great time, we forget about the flight. Yeah, so let's see. I usually fly out of JFK. JFK over there is usually, gosh, it's been a while, 9.5 or 10 hours flight over. Sometimes it can be 11 if the winds are really strong. So yeah, it's a good flight, a good ways over there from Newark. Obviously about the same time. So when you get there, you know, if you can't sleep on the plane, I'm one of the people that cannot sleep on a plane. I don't care. Well, like I said, if I travel in those up front seats, I might be able to catch some snooze, but I can't sleep on a plane. So when I get there, I'm always super tired. You guys will be too. The guides are going to try to help you to stay awake. Okay, the worst thing you can do is get there and fall asleep on the bus, because you're going to be paying for that the next day and the next day. It'll just take you longer to get used to it. But if you can push through and, you know, be awake until, you know, dinner and then have a little bit early bedtime, you'll feel a lot better the next day. You'll be able to hit the ground running. What's the time difference? The time difference is 7 hours between here. 8 hours. You guys are an hour behind me. I got to recalculate. That messed me up coming over here today, by the way. Okay, any other questions? We got plenty of time. I can stay all night. I got a hotel just down the road here. So I've got 3 kids, 1, 4, and 6. He just turned 7. And I'm going to have a great night's sleep tonight. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Prior to this meeting, the last number I got was 79, I think, or 78, something of the sort. So, yeah, am I wrong? Yeah, there's a bunch already registered. So you said 59 registered. Well, there was a few spots that are spoken for that are not signed up yet. $59. Okay, I misspoke. 59 already registered, so there's some more spots left. Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Oh, you got confirmation. You signed up now during the meeting. Congratulations. Oh, good. Now we go. Okay. So if you get the freebie, you'll get the refund. Okay. All right. Make sure. Is it Saturday? All right. Make sure you're here Saturday night. That's Awesome. Glad you're coming. That means I did something okay tonight. That's good. That's a first. That's another first for me. No one's ever signed up during one of these meetings. Any other questions? No. All right. I'll turn it back over to you, Pastor.
Okay, so real numbers, then we think we've got about 9 spots left on what we have. So if you're interested in signing up, I might sign up tonight before I left. And then what we're going to do is you just let us know if you're interested, and we'll put you on a waiting list. We may just get another trip if we have enough to do later. So I had no idea that we would fill up this quick, so it's an exciting deal. Somebody said about the food is good. The food, you undersold the food, man. Everything else was good. I think we just had some of our group got back from Israel just last week, and I had lunch with Ben Curtis today. He gained weight while he was over there. So hotels are nice, comfortable. The flight's a mess. It's hard, and you're tired, but it just is what it is. But when you get there that next morning, you get some sleep. It's a great experience. So I hope you'll consider it. Anybody else? Another question before we go? I hope this answered some questions tonight about that. Yes, sir.
I don't know if she just did it on a cell phone. I had heard you could only do it on a laptop. So it worked on a cell phone? Okay.
Yeah. If you are doing that, we're down to 8 then. Yes, ma'am. Most every place does have cell service. The spiritual side of things, unbelievable, but just the other side, Tel Aviv is a world-class city. World-class city, and it's amazing. So, yeah, that's kind of they ask about cell service.
Yeah, about cell service, let me just speak to that really quick. Your cell phone will work. It will be very expensive when you get back. So you get Wi-Fi everywhere, though. The buses have Wi-Fi. The hotels have Wi-Fi. Use your Wi-Fi calling and call folks. If you have an iPhone, doing FaceTime or an iPad, FaceTime is the best way to communicate with folks back home. Because if you just call using your cell service, you'll be real surprised at your bill when you get back. There's all kinds of different things you can do with your phone carrier plans and all this stuff. But I think the easiest thing is just to use Wi-Fi. That's what we tell people. They seem to have a lot of luck using that, and that's what I use when I'm over there. So
yeah. And we are saving 2. Of course we're saving 2 for the frees that we're giving away on Saturday night. So we do have those, but other than that, we're close. Yes, sir.
Just to be straight, if this plane fills up and we go toward another plane, that will leave the same day, the same date?
Yeah. Amy and I are going to be on the first flight. Greg and Tammy are going to be on the second flight over. The second flight will get there later that afternoon.
That's part of the 79, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's almost filled up too.
Yep.
So the second plane's almost filled up?
Yep. Yep. And we thought we were going to have unlimited spots, and we didn't. So that's where we are. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a spot that looks like it's going to sell out tonight? If we start interested, do we just send Jeannie or whoever knows saying we still want to go maybe in April? Or?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing is just to email Jeannie and let us know that you're interested, and then we'll start working on the next trip. Yeah. Good deal. And I know that's frustrating. I'm sure if you haven't, we're going to work hard to get everybody accommodated if we can. All right. We got the brochures up here. Is that right, Tyler? And so Tyler will hang around if you have any questions for him, and I'll be up here if you have any questions. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. Appreciate it.
Don't stop believing right now. Don't quit